Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Ash.
And this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to a special episode, and that is us going to be predicting the driver lineups for the 2021 season. Now we are kind of going to make this into a fun little game. I know Tommo F1 has already done a video doing his F1 2021 drivers lineup, so I'll leave the description to that video down below. There were some great predictions in there. But for us, we're going to turn this into a little bit of a competition to hopefully involve you guys as well. So what we will do is we will obviously go through Williams to then Mercedes, so based on kind of championship position from last year. And what the point scoring system will be is we will get you 1 point for each driver correct, and if you get the team right you get 2 points. So if you get both drivers right in the team, you can get a maximum of 4 points from there. So working it out quickly, getting 20 drivers right is 80 points maximum. Cool, that would be impressive if anyone got 80. But if you kind of submit, we'll kind of put up at the end how Mark and Steven select their teams in kind of way that you can send it to us, and then at the end of the season the winner will be given a prize, which we haven't quite decided what it will be yet, but I'm sure it will be a good prize from there. But yes, before we get in, we'll just mention obviously Hayley, as usual. I think she's probably been a little bit more active on Twitter recently, but yes, it was a nice kind of little 100 subscribers, 200 subscribers. Yeah, we milk it. But I think probably every achievement is one that we didn't really think would happen.
No, it wasn't expected, so we're pushing on, and I think we've set ourselves a target of 300 before the season starts.
Exactly. Keep aiming high, I think, ambitious from then. See where it goes. But for now, we are going to get into our driver predicted lineups for 2021, so I hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. And as usual, should we probably go with you starting, Ash, because it's the way it usually goes?
Yes, so shall we go with a bit of a surprise for this one?
Okay.
So Nicholas Latifi will keep his seat at Williams for 2021.
Was that the surprise?
No, the surprise is the fact that Nico Hülkenberg will be back in F1. Yeah, at Williams. Didn't want them this season, but he's going to see their plans for 2021 and be like, oh, championship. Not really, but yeah.
Wow, that is... I mean, we started controversial straight up. And for me, it is going to be Nicholas Latifi. He will retain his place for Williams, and to partner him alongside, we're both backing George Russell not to be there in 2021. And I'm going to put into the seat Dan Ticktum. I think he is going to put his past behind him, have a good year in F2. He has more backing than Jack Aitken, who is obviously just become the reserve driver for Williams, and he is going to make that step up into Formula 1.
Fantastic. Next is...
Haas.
Yeah, I've got the top. It will be K-Mag, and I'm fully expecting Rogro to keep his seat. I don't think there'll be any change at Haas, unless they do decide to look for an American driver. But at this moment in time, I don't think there's anyone that's ready to take that step up into Formula 1.
More changes for me. Kevin Magnussen is going to be having the team built around him, but it is Romain Grosjean's last season in F1 in 2020, and he will be replaced in the team by Daniel Kvyat.
Controversial.
I know. There we go. A controversy coming left, right and centre.
Okay,
right,
so we are now at Alfa Romeo.
We are at Alfa Romeo.
Yes. So for me, it will be Iceman Kimi Räikkönen. He's going to go for it. He's going to just continue. He's one of those, he will continue to just stay around for as long as possible. I don't see him going too soon. And I'm going to go for it, Mick Schumacher to be given the Alfa seat.
And this is going to be the first one, and maybe the only one, that we agree on. I think Kimi Räikkönen will hang on. I think the way that you see Lewis Hamilton talking, I think in a recent interview, was like he needs Kimi to keep going so he doesn't become the oldest driver, but it doesn't look like anytime soon. Plus the new regulations, Kimi seems to be really enjoying life. Unless this season is really awful at Alpha, I can see him just kind of going, being the kind of experienced driver, and Mick Schumacher is going to come in and be the kind of junior promoted from F2 next year.
So that moves us on to Alpha Tauri. Now, this one, a little bit of a surprise here. I'm going to go for Alexander Albon being the lead driver, and in the team with him is going to be Daniel Kvyat. It's going to go back to last season's original driver lineup. I don't think there's going to be too many new drivers coming into F1, but yeah, there's that one.
More fun with Mike. Alexander Albon, I agree. I think maybe not harsh on terms of, but when we get to Red Bull, we'll see why that Alexander Albon has been demoted for me. And he will be leading that team with a youngster. He's going to do well in Super Formula and progress into Formula 1, and that is going to be Yuri Vips.
Okay, so after that it moves us to Racing Point?
Correct.
Look at this, I'm actually remembering something for once. So, Racing Point will be Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas. It's going to be Aston Martin at this stage, it's not going to be Racing Point, but yeah. Sergio Perez has got a long-term contract, and Valtteri Bottas is Valtteri Bottas. It doesn't seem very secure long-term.
And for me, to kind of lead Aston Martin into the new era, obviously Checo Perez, he's kind of, got the basis of a potentially big team around him. Instead of kind of moving to one, he's kind of made one out of Racing Point. And to partner him will be Pierre Gasly. Now, I've spoken about this, so this is probably more out of hope than actual reality of it actually happening. But I genuinely think it will probably be a very good partnership. I think they would get on well, and certainly would be a very good driver lineup for Aston Martin with, Lance Stroll out of a seat.
Yeah. So after that, we then move up to Renault. So at Renault, for me, is going to be Daniel Ricciardo will stay at Renault, and with him it's then who's dropping out, really.
You gonna keep Ocon, or you're kicking him out again? One season wonder.
I'm gonna keep Ocon.
Okay.
I think they'll try and, going into the new regulations, they'll try and keep a stable team.
Wait a minute. It's the reason I bought this today. Oh, you can tell where the predictions are going.
I can tell.
So, if you guys don't know what this livery is, it is of course the livery of the Renaults of the early 2000s era, and a certain driver had a successful time in F1 in these colours. He's determined to come back. I'm going to do it. I'm bringing him back. I think Renault is the most viable option for him. So Fernando Alonso will return to F1 in 2021 with Renault. Obviously the team he's been successful with and was a happy Fernando with when he was at Renault. We'll forget 08 and 09. And then we will have Esteban Ocon partnering him as well.
Ooh. Okay, controversial. So, we then move on to McLaren. Now, I did want to go for a big shake-up with McLaren and have a bit of a surprise that's not really a surprise. But I don't see them changing. So, in all honesty, Lando Norris will be there. But do I do it?
I don't know, it's up to you. Do you do it?
Do I do it or not? No, I'm going to stick with it. It will be Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris. I was going to do a change, and no, it then affects the other three, and no, we'll stick with it.
It's the second team that we've got to agree on. So we agreed on Alfa Romeo, and McLaren I agree. Much the same as Ash, I can very much see they've got everything working very well. I think they've got two drivers who believe in the project at McLaren. I think McLaren are very happy, unless obviously they have a kind of car crash of a relationship in 2020. I can very much see both drivers staying and continuing to drive McLaren back to the top.
Okay, and then we get to Red Bull. Now, this is where we're actually interested to see what we've gone for as combinations. Now, we could stick with the obvious, Max Verstappen signing a new contract, but I'm not doing that. Pierre Gasly.
He's already signed the new contract.
He may have signed it, but money talks in F1. So Pierre Gasly will be back in the Red Bull, and his teammate is going to be Sebastian Vettel.
Well, Max Verstappen stays for me. He believes in the Honda project. Honda believe in Max Verstappen. But to partner him, obviously it's not Alex Albon.
It's not.
It's not Daniel Kvyat. It's not Pierre Gasly. They've already been placed. It is also Sebastian Vettel. For whatever reason, I don't feel Seb will retire. And I think even if he returns to Red Bull, I think he would very much understand that he was going into the Max Verstappen project. But I think he would go somewhere where he knows he would enjoy racing and also be like, I can see myself fighting with Max in terms of there. So yes, I'm going to put together Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel. Although I think Helmut Marko said they couldn't really get together and wages might be an issue. Screw it. It's happening. Big dogs, they're in the team.
Now, we get to Ferrari. So for me, I think it's quite obvious who one of my drivers is going to be. And that is Charles Leclerc. I think it was an obvious one, really. With him, we're going to have a dream partnership. It's just which partnership do we have? And I think they'll take the risk with Max Verstappen. I don't think they're going to go as far as trying to get Lewis Hamilton out of the Mercedes just yet. But in all honesty, the Ferrari of last season, with Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, there's world championships being won there, and a lot of them. It's going to create a new dynasty in Formula One.
Wow.
You're going to look at the turbo hybrid era and think Mercedes, and then 2021 onwards you're going to look at it and think Ferrari with that partnership.
Wow. I mean, these are kind of meant to be serious predictions, but I believe probably both looking at me and Ash's predictions, people might think that we're mental because there's lots of carnage change, but it all happens because Sebastian Vettel leaves Ferrari and then everything's up in the air. It's like...
And let's be honest, there's only two teams that can afford to get Max Verstappen out of his Red Bull contract. And when you look at the way Mercedes are run, they don't tend to do that sort of thing. Like, the only time you look at it and think they spent money to buy out of a contract was Bottas, and even then they reduced the cost of their engines rather than paying big money. So I don't see that happening. And yeah, Ferrari, they like to have a big name.
Ferrari for me, Charles Leclerc. Obvious one, of course. It's the man they're building their future around. To partner him, another shot. Didn't believe in the Renault project, but he is going to believe in the Ferrari project. Obviously, well thought of in Italy. I believe his mother is half Italian, and obviously, you know, well thought of by the Tifosi. Daniel Ricciardo gets on well with Charles Leclerc as well. They do have a friendship. I think it would be a kind of exciting battle on track as teammates, and he would back it as another chance in a big seat to beat his teammate. But also it's something that could be a little bit more harmonious as they have that friendship before, which obviously Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc did not have.
So we then get to Mercedes, and I think this one's an obvious pairing based on who I've left out. And it's obviously going to be Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Now, George Russell has, all the comments around him are he has the ability to challenge for championships. He just hasn't while he's at Williams, and that's an obvious one. Lewis Hamilton, I see him in red at some point, I just don't think he will do it until the opportunity to beat Schumacher's record has gone being away from Ferrari. So the whole time Mercedes are competitive, I see him staying there.
Lewis Hamilton for me obviously stays, because it would be mad to say that he retires at the end of the 2020 season for me. I think, like the experienced drivers in Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen, the prospect of what if the 2021 rules, everything might be the same. We don't know at this stage. But if it does change up and it does lend itself more away from car development and more towards driver skill, every driver has an ego, and every driver believes they have to be a successful one, that they are the best. And so Hamilton has on many occasions proven that he is one of, if not, the best of all time in terms of that. And I just can't see why he would want to move away from something as successful as what Mercedes has been for him. And in that second seat is George Russell. I think everyone kind of feels this, and yes, I think you have moved Bottas in thing. Bottas, for me, I feel he loves F1 and he would give everything in 2020. And if he doesn't win the championship and he's replaced by George Russell, I'm not entirely sure whether that would be a blow too much, considering his marriage has almost been at the cost of this sport. He was rallying over the winter break. I don't know if he might try something like rallying or a different series to try and go and be more successful in. But George Russell is the future of Mercedes in my opinion, and he will definitely be in that seat in 2021. That's it.
Yeah. We've got some great partnerships there.
We've got some great partnerships. If we get half of what we've kind of just put out and predicted, that would be an incredible shake-up of the grid going into 2021 and certainly bring a lot of excitement.
Well, the thing to look at is everyone's made a big deal about the 2021 reg change and the fact that this year we're going to have a silly season that lasts for the majority of the Formula 1 calendar. But if everyone's to be believed in the fact, as you said, the car's not going to have as big an impact on the outcome of results when they are able to race, and it is going to be more driver lineup based. Why change? If the car's not going to give you that bigger an advantage, you might as well stay somewhere you're comfortable. So we may end up in a situation where we go into 2021 with everyone in the same seat.
Oh, that would be boring but sensible, probably in some ways. Our way's a lot more fun. Yeah. But guys, those have been mine and Ash's predictions. And on screen now, like I mentioned at the start, I'm now putting up Mark and Stephen's predictions. So yeah, as you can see there, a little bit of kind of controversy as well in terms there, but probably some fairly safe picks, you might think. But yes, that is something that if you send in to us in our format, obviously we will keep a track and hold of your score. And also to point out, in the summer break, we will be doing a kind of midway kind of driver predictions video. And what we will do in this video is we will go, obviously, remind you guys of what we've predicted now, and we will give the option of stick or twist. Obviously, people like Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, Ocon, in theory, have already been confirmed at their seats, and it seems unlikely that they change. But yes, in that summer break, you can stick or twist. You can decide to stick with your predicted lineups, or if something has happened, you can twist it and still be successful in that. Like I said, it should be a fun little contest, and we wanted to kind of get you guys involved in the driver predictions as well. But it's a little bit of fun, today's video. Obviously at this stage, nobody has a clue, but I think it was a little bit of serious tinge with what we would like to see in 2021.
Definitely.
But if you are new around here, guys, what can they do, Ash?
You can press the subscribe button so our videos go into your YouTube inbox, and if you press the bell icon, you'll get a notification when one of them goes live, and you'll be able to see the content that we've put up that time.
And if you've liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let us know. And like I say, get involved in the comments below on what you thought of our driver predictions. Very sensible indeed. But yes, like I said, get involved, send us yours. You have to send us your predictions. What should we say? The deadline is before the first race in Melbourne. That is the deadline for it, that you are entered into the competition. And if your driver predicted lineups are correct, or you score the most points over the season, then you will win a prize at the end of the year.
Do I get the prize if I win?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And I get the prize if I win.
Based on your predictions of last season, it's unlikely.
Probably. Fair shout. Anyway, guys, we hope you've enjoyed that video. And for now, you F1 fans, keep racing.